It's your girl Selena, the Disruptor Coach, and I appreciate you all being here today. I am I started a new playlist. It's called Selena's Reflections and Truth. So today I want to bring you a reflection and truth. It's really around my first public speaking engagement. And I'm super excited because it's something that I will never forget because it's my first one. So I'm sharing this powerful win. It's been a long time coming. Last week, I had the honor of stepping into my very first public speaking engagement. And let me tell you, this was a moment. And it's just the beginning, the first of many to come. Awesome. So I got my notes here, y'all. So stay with me. Let me set the scene for you. I was invited to speak to the TAG, which stands for Team Affinity Group, Black Professionals of UNIFY. This is a team affinity group dedicated to empowering Black professionals, fostering equity, mentorship, and economic empowerment. And when I say we didn't just scratch the surface, we went deep because you know your girl, I love deep conversations. I'm a deep thinker and I love human beings. We held space for two deeply connected conversations. Getting your shit together, that's the self-love, healing, identity, and time freedom, and redefining mental health as DisruptHers. You know how I do it. And so why this conversation mattered. The room was full of Black professionals committed to making an impact in their careers, their communities, and beyond. But here's what I told them, and what I'm telling you now. We can't fully advocate for others or foster meaningful change if we are not taking care of ourselves first. Believe me, I have learned the hard way. You cannot lead from depletion. And actually, this is a company that I used to work for. And when I worked there, I was absolutely depleted, exhausted, and disconnected from myself. You need the energy, strength, capacity, and confidence to lead from a place of wholeness. And let me see, do I have it in my notes? Let me double check. I don't think I do. So let me go pull it up. Uh, do, 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 do. I think I'll get to it. Okay. So we open the space by celebrating wins because so often we're focused on what's next. We don't take time to honor where we already are winning. Yes. And so I do this with all of my coaching clients as well. Because it's important to have that audio evidence and celebrate those wins because we do some badass shit around here and don't always give ourselves the credit. And that also lends to that productivity mentality. You just keep going, 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 and you got to celebrate yourself. It leans into the self-love care also that I talk about. And when those celebrations started pouring in, you could feel the energy shift. Yes, we had one sister that won an award, was honored at her workplace. And then we had another sister that she had been on crutches and now she, I think, is in the walking boot. So that was a great win. And also the fact that she is in school and getting ready to graduate and will have the opportunity to walk across the stage. So I'm super excited for her. So when we recognize our wins, we open the door to abundance and expansion. And you know, I'm all about that life, us taking up space, you know? All right. So let's get to the SHIT framework or SHIT, breaking it down for you, okay? Next, we moved into my signature framework, getting your shit together. And here's how I broke it down for them. So the S stands for self-love. It's about getting your needs met and honoring yourself unapologetically. Some people may call it boundaries, but I call it getting your needs met because that's what's happening. So it's not just self-care checklist, not hustle recovery, true self-priority and what that looks like. And I started out by asking a series of questions. We had three categories. I had a mental health check-in category. I had a reflection for them to take back with them and sit with them. So this allows them to have time with themselves, right? And for you to have time with yourself when you reflect, reflect on the day, reflect on a moment. And we also, actually, I'm going to pull the presentation up so I can check in on it and not try to remember it all by heart because it was fire. It was fire. I'm not going to show you the presentation, but I'm just going to leverage it for my notes. Okay. Yeah, so I can remember because your girl's memory. So the initial, when we first started after the wins, was the quick check question. How many of you have ever felt like you're just managing life instead of living it? Right? Because sometimes I certainly do with the mental health challenges I've been having. I feel like I just go from one thing to the next because there's a series of appointments that I need to make or have. I meet with my psychologist twice a week. I also have physical therapy for the physical part of the challenges that I'm having. So it can be a lot. So it's not just about self-care checklists, hustle recovery, but true self priority. Then we talked about the healing. Healing is not just recovery from what you've endured, but building the capacity for who you are becoming. And that's real talk. Capacity has been a big buzzword that's been going around lately, which I just love. Because it is about capacity and understanding that. I think we've just been taught to cope, and that's just not it. I know for a fact maintaining the status quo is how we got here in the first place, especially for my women out there, right? Um, Showing up and doing all of the things because of societal reasons, you know, all of the things, right? Religious, obligations that we believe we have to family and to show up and all of the things. And that's why you're burnt out. That's why you're overwhelmed. That's why you're tired. You're exhausted. You don't want to do one more thing, not one more thing. You want to be free. And I want that for you too. Healing creates room for expansion. And that's where we're trying to get to. So, whatever you desire and you want to have, you have to heal so that you can be able to hold it, to hold those new things. It's making room for what you say you want. Because if you don't heal that thing, it's going to come back. It's going to come back up because it's lessons that you still need to learn. The stuff is happening for you. I know it may not seem like it, but it is. It is happening for you. It's not happening to you. Sometimes if you make that shift, it can just help click something that's totally different, right? Because for me, as an example, in realizing that I found my calling, right? Like all of these things were going to happen so that I could be able to show up and help you all and serve you all that need to see somebody else that's been through it. Okay. Next was identity. It's not about who they told you to be. Let me say that again, right? Because a lot of us are walking around with somebody else's expectation, living our life for someone else. Been there, done that. Who in the room? Yeah. And you may not even realize it. It's about discovering who you truly are at your essence, your true essence, who you were designed and created to be, and how you're meant to show up on this earth and serve in your mesh connect, the work that you were called to do, the business that you were called to create, the mission that you were called to carry out, the vision that you were given and it don't look like anyone else's because you're the one that's supposed to be doing it. Real talk. And then the time. You're the most valuable asset. And so if you don't have the time, energy, and capacity and the strength to take care of you, it's going to cost you time. Right now, one of the status quos is trading money for time. And I'm going to get you out of that life. So protecting it is a radical act of self priority. time is a valuable asset, you are a valuable asset. Time cannot be renewed. I always say, time keeps on ticking, ticking into the future. I don't know whose song that is, but y'all get the point because it does. It never stops. It's continual. We can't renew it. We can't get it back. We can't reclaim it, even though that's a popular buzz thing too. We have to stop trading our time away like it's disposable. Two parts of that, right? When we are allowing ourselves to do things and show up in places and spaces that we don't really want to, you can't get that back. So you have to understand and decide, okay, is this worth the energy and the time to put into? Is there something beneficial later? Or is it just a hard no, right? That was one of the questions, right? Are you asking, especially from a self-love perspective, uh, in the presentation, it's when something comes up and you get a question or um, it's something you want to do, you have to ask yourself, am I doing this out of obligation? Right? Let me go to that in here. Like I wrote it, I know what's in here. I just need to find it. So the question is, this was the action step. Let me go. I got so many goodies in here. Ask yourself before you say yes to anything, is this self-love or am I doing it out of obligation? And I have a cheat code for that. No is a complete sentence if the answer isn't yes. If you're doing it and it's self-love, then the answer is no. And no, you don't need a commentary, any of that. That's how you get your needs met. That's how you honor your boundaries by saying no to the things that will not serve you. You have to serve you first before you can serve anyone else. Okay. Another hack that I also use is, especially from a caregiving perspective, if I'm doing and showing up for someone else, I need to balance it out by doing something for myself to make sure that things don't get out of balance in that way, that I don't feel depleted. I don't feel like I haven't met my needs. So the first thing in the morning, I'm the first thing on my list. Me. I'm out of balance a little bit on my sleep schedule. So the time that I get to focus on myself is more throughout the day than very first thing in the morning, the way that I want it to be, but I'll get back there. I'm actively working on it. There's a number of things that took me off my uh I heard somebody say yoga mat today, and I'm gonna borrow that off my yoga mat. Yes. So let's talk about some of the practical resources. I was already kind of saying that I touched on because we touched on mental health, and I also shared real tangible resources that they could use because sometimes we need support right in the moment. And one of the most valuable ones is because this was a professional environment, and I was talking to with them about self-love, healing, identity, and time, as well as mental health and mental health check-ins, is the Employee Assistance Program. They call it EAP. I shared my personal experience in using the EAP services. There was a time when I needed to talk to someone immediately. I was in a mental health crisis. I needed time off work. My spirit had kept telling me to take time off, and I didn't. It took me about a year before I finally did that because for a number of reasons. One, I didn't believe because as a Black woman that I would be believed and be given the time off work, because I wasn't fully sure exactly what was going on. And so when I finally went to investigate the paperwork and started the process, um, something happened that just like I couldn't breathe. Like I had to get out of there. And I went to my primary care doctor and I was asking for the time off. And she was like, what's going to be different from now until a week from now? And I was like, well, can I please have 4 weeks? Because what I started to realize that I was experiencing some level of trauma. I didn't know what, and I needed to find me a trauma therapist, somebody that specialized in the trauma around narcissism, trauma around um, several abuses, like all of the things, they were starting to come to a head. I couldn't take it anymore. And what was happening at work was triggering me. It was making me feel like I was back in those situations. And so I had learned when I called to get information to find a therapist, that there was in moment support. So they had told me, if anything comes up until you find this therapist, we have in moment support and you can call. So by the time I went to the doctor's office and we finally negotiated that I would get the 3 weeks off rather than the four and give me time to find the therapist, when I got in the car, I had a panic attack or something. I could not get myself together. I was just crying hysterically, all of the things. And in that period, I remembered that I could call the EAP and get in-moment support. And that young lady that I talked to, she gave me language. She gave me um, she gave me a way to calm myself so that I could drive myself home. Because I couldn't even put the key in the key holder because I was just that distraught. And I've only had that happen a couple of times in my life that were very traumatic experiences. Once I was on a bus in Costa Rica and I needed to use the bathroom and I couldn't get off that bus. I was stuck on that bus and that like set off a trigger. So just a lot of things that sometimes you don't know that they're going to happen. And so you need tools to be able to help you. So that in moment support, especially in corporate spaces, and it's all confidential. They don't get to know that. And then it helped me get grounded and be connected to a therapist. That was just so amazing. So that's an underutilized resource that many don't realize they even have access to. So I wanted to bring that to the forefront so that they're aware of that. And um, if you are in a corporate environment, chances are you probably do have it as a resource. So tap into that. Use it. It's there. I use all the benefits that any company provides me. I want my benefits because they are part of the package, right? When they include it in the salary negotiations and all of the things. So you want that, just like healthcare. That's an extension of your healthcare and other professional services. So you don't have to wait until things get unmanageable. You can get support now. So know that. All right. And then, so next up, we talked about redefining mental health, this disruptor way. So what I wanted to do and bring home to them. So this is very important for anyone, even if you don't see yourself as a disruptor yet, this is very important. So then I went there. We unpacked mental health, and I started with the World Health Organization definition because this is the most common definition when I was asking. So I used ChatGPT to help me strategize and build out get my thoughts clear. It works really well. It's another tool if you have not tried it or used it. I definitely want you to get in there and just have some conversations with it and see what it does. It helps you just ideate and get your thoughts clear. All right. And so, what their definition is a state of well being in which an individual realizes their abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to contribute to their community. Respectfully, I believe that's cute, but it's not enough. It's about maintaining that status quo, right? What is coping? right? I think people have done that for so long. You need capacity. You don't want to just cope. Here's at Disruptor Coaching here. This is how I define mental health. It's the energy, the strength of your intuition, strength of your mind, strength of your health, strength of your all of the things that you need to strengthen your financials, like everything, right? Capacity, the capacity to be able to deal with the highs and the lows and the unexpected things in life. Capacity is almost like inner peace. You might bend, but you're not going to break because you have a peace and an understanding that, okay, I've been through something similar and it didn't break me. I didn't die. If I can get through those hard moments, I can get through some stuff. I've got some capacity for this. And you've got some tools. Capacity also, there's tools around that. So I provided resources that they had not considered. Journaling is a big resource to help you get things off your mind, or just having a notebook to place things. It also helps you get clearer about things for capacity and confidence, right? That courage, courage over confidence to do things anyway, because a lot of things that stop us are out of fear. I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to get a leave of absence from work, and I was struggling. I was dying on the vine. And it was unfounded because I was able to get it. More things showed up that were a yes for me than a no. So confidence to live life on your own terms. So let me come back and give you this definition because I'm commentating in between that. So the disruptor definition is the energy, strength, capacity, and confidence to live life on your terms, unapologetically, because it is your life. It's not about coping. It's not about managing stress or holding it all together while breaking down inside. It's about expanding. It's about thriving. It's about showing up as your whole self without apology or performance. How many can relate out there if this is you? That's why disrupting the status quo is so important because you've been doing that already. You've been trying to keep the peace already. And is it working? Do you have peace? What does it feel like for you? Right? No more. So there were breakthrough moments. Something really powerful happened, and attendees shared that they struggled to show emotion because they were taught not to feel. That cracked the room open, right? Especially for us as Black people. We were told be seen and not heard. You know, in her culture, it was like, don't show emotion, suck it up kind of thing. And it sparked deeper reflection on how often we are conditioned to disconnect from our feelings and what it takes to create space for healing, vulnerability, and being fully seen. So we had a safe space and opportunity um, to be in that space together. So by the end of our time together, the room was alive with reflection and openness. People were ready to embrace new practices like the journaling and new perspectives on what it means to prioritize themselves, not someday, but now. Remember, you are valuable and time is a valuable asset. So how much more time do you want to waste in not healing and not investing in yourself and make a priority? Like, think about the cost, the real cost of those things, how much time it's already costed you already when you could be setting yourself free. right? The conversation was deeply aligned with the Tag Black Professionals' purpose, empowering leaders to foster equity, membership, and impact in their communities. But the truth is, it starts by empowering yourself first. You can't pour into others from an empty cup. And we've all tried. It leads to burnout, overwhelm, health issues, mentally, physically. You have to expand your capacity, build your strength, and lead from a place of wholeness. And if you're ready to do that, I just want to personally invite you to join me inside the Abundance and Expansion Circle. It's a free community where we create space for your healing, your growth, and your leadership. It's a space where you learn to put yourself first without apology. The wait list is open now, and I'd love to see you there. If you are a leader or organization looking to create transformational spaces for your team, if you want to foster honest conversation about mental health, leadership, and living life on your terms, I'm booking future speaking engagements right now. Whether it's your team, your community, or your conference, I'd love to be in the room with you. Reach out to me directly to get the conversation started. That's my time. Selina, the Disruptor Coach, and this has been one of Selina's reflections and truths. And until next time, I want you to take up space, do your best to live life on your terms because it is your life, and keep disrupting. So take good care of yourself. And drop in the comments. Let me know what resonated with you. Uh, that's where you can hit me up for the speaking engagement, all of the things, right? I want to hear what you have to say, what your thoughts are around this conversation. It is a much needed conversation today. So hit me up. I'm looking forward to you. I'll be looking for you in the comments. Thank you. Take good care. Take good